Culture shock. What is culture shock? Maybe a part of us don't know what is culture shock. Have you ever heard about culture shock? Maybe yes or no. We can define culture shock as the feeling of disorientation experienced by someone when they are suddenly subjected to an unfamiliar culture, way of life, or set of attitudes. For that reason, we asked some academic people to tell us what is culture shock, and we asked about: did they travel to another country? Are they faced culture shock?
Basically, cultural shock to me is when you go to another country, unfamiliar country, so you can see another food, another culture, for example, food, dress. So they are very different from what you have in your own country. So basically, psychologically, it's about your feeling. When you go to another country, you can see differences. That's why you'll be shocked. You'll be a bit sometimes confused if you don't understand their culture. I went to several countries. For example, I went to Turkey, I went to Jordan, and I went to Iran, for example, when I was a child. I haven't been, let's say, to like a culture shock there because I can see their culture is a bit similar to our culture. But the first time when I went to the UK, it was really for me it was a culture shock because everything was unfamiliar for me. Even food and dress and people were talking together, and so for me, especially when I remember when I was in the Manchester airport, I went to train station there. I couldn't forget for that. So for me, it was really culture shock. It was about 2 months. I wasn't okay.
براستی مرۆڤ کەتت بچێتە دەرەوە بچێتە وڵاتێکی ئەوروپی تووشی کۆمەڵێک شۆکە بوو ئەو کولتورە جیاوازەی کە بینێ خۆی زۆر جیاوازە بۆ نمونە من مەسەلەن چوومە هۆڵەندا یەک لە شتە جوانەکانی هۆڵەندا دینیم تووشی شۆکی کردم ڕاستگۆیی مرۆڤەکان لە کارکردن ئێمە بخۆمان زانین لە کاتی سواری سیارە بینیان ئۆتۆمبیل هزار مجازفە و مخالفاکەین بۆ بگەین شوێنی کارەکانمان کە گەیشتنە شوێنی کارەکانمان هیچ کارێک ناکەین تەمبەڵ تەواو دانیشت بەڵامان پێچوانە هێ من ئارام لەسەرخۆ مخالفە ناکەن بەڵام کە گەیشتنە سەر کارەکانیان زۆر بەجددی کارەکان هەوڵیانەوەی خزمەت مرۆڤەکان بۆیە خۆشبەختتر لێمە ئەمە زۆرێک بوو لە شۆک ئێمە بۆ ئەوان ینی بۆ کەلچەری ئەوان جگەلەوەی کە من بینیم ئەوان دەمێکە خاڵی سەفریان تێپەڕاندووە هەنگاویان بۆ گەیشتن بە نوتکەی خزمەت گوزاری مرۆڤایەتی بەڵام ئێمە تا ئێستا خاڵی سفرمان نەدۆزیوە یعنی تۆ سەیرکە وڵاتێکی وەکو هۆڵەندا نەنەوتی هەیە نە سەرچاوایشی داهاتی گەورەی ئەوای هەیە بە گوڵەژی ژیانیان وەکو گوڵە بەڵام ئێمە نەوت لەسەر سەرچاوی نەوت ئێمە ژیانمان وەکو نەوت ڕەشەوە یعنی بەڕاستی نیشان تووشی شۆکە بێت کاتێ بینی وڵاتێکی وەکو هۆڵەندا ئاوا بە خۆشگوزەرانی دەژی ئێمە جەوا بەدەبەختی دەژین جگەلەوەی کە لەوێ کۆمەڵێک شت هەیە کاری لەسەر دەکرێت ئەویش گەشەپێدانی هزری مرۆڤ ینی هەوڵ دەدەن ئیتر لەمەوەدا ئەقساد فکر بێت ینی فکر بفرۆشی ئەمە شۆکە ینی تۆ پرۆژە ئەفرۆشی بۆ وڵاتانی دیکە ئەمە زۆر جیاوازی وڵات ئێمە تا ئێستا شەڕمان لەسەرەوەی سەر بە چ عەشیرەتێکین پاشگرەکەمان چ عەشیرەتێک بێت ینی شەڕمان لەسەرەوەی خەڵکی چ منتیقەیەکین کە منتیقە باشتر ئەمانە کاریگەری زۆریان هەیە لەسەر پێشکەوتنی مرۆڤ مرۆڤ خۆی بناسێت کە خۆی ناسی اینجا بەتوانێت دەوروبەر بناسێت پێشتا خۆمان ناسێت.
So culture, so we want to, let's say, to ask the question of culture shock or define culture shock, we have to, let's say, define culture simply, okay? So culture, in one word I can say lifestyle, okay, or the system of life that's created by the people themselves. So every community, every people, let's say every country, if this word can be used, for example, say everything is different in different cultures. See, so even a family is different from another family. We sometimes call it individual differences. So the food is different, the clothing is different, the social relationships are different. For example, the religions, okay, sectors of religions are different as well. So this is, let's say, the differences between cultures or culture. Culture shock, or for example, is, let's say, contacting between two different or very far cultures from each other. So sometimes, for example, the differences are only in language, not in religion. But sometimes, let's say, the differences are in language, religion, food, I don't know. So social relationship is, kinds of marriage, okay? So in this case, shock happens. You see, wow, how do people, let's say, bury their, let's say, dead bodies? How do people get married? You see, it's different. Yes. For example, regarding the shocks that I have seen in my life, here in Kurdistan, even in Kurdistan, we sometimes see culture shock. How a family, parents behave with their daughter. You see, so in different ways. How a family, let's say, behave with their child. How the two spouses, let's say, conduct, or let's say, I don't know, talk to each other, relationship. You will be shocked. You say, they are spouses, disrespect, or very, very respectable, or relationship. You see, again, sometimes I saw food, or so you see, I saw, let's say, people eating things that I say, disgusting. You see, yes. Also, for example, in Kurdistan, you see, so we are affected by, let's see, so our culture is mostly affected by religion. So the freedom of individual freedom is less than, let's say, individual freedom in other countries. If you go to Europe, you see that people are free, they are busy with themselves, with their lives. They do not interfere with the lives of other people. You see? For example, once I was in France, I saw people, let's say, laying in the gardens, kissing. I don't know. You see? Also, you see, so this is different from here.
As we saw and hear, those academic people have different responses about our subject. From now, you need to know the definition of culture shock and what is culture shock. If you will travel to another country, you will know about culture shock and see what is culture.